welcome everyone who's joined us so far. We're going to run through a presentation of the NorCal Premiere coaching platform this morning. This morning, I believe, in Northern California, but it's evening here in the UK. My name's Terry Barton. I'm the head of product development here at the Coaching Manual. So we're really proud of the relationship that we've built with NorCal Premiere thus far. We've created what we think is an amazing coach education platform for NorCal Premiere and for its clubs and coaches. And we really do hope that the members of NorCal Premiere clubs and the people who are volunteering or providing coaching to young people in Northern California really do use this platform to help themselves grow as coaches and ultimately help them deliver a first-class education to children around the game of soccer. A quick introduction to the Coaching Manual in terms of what it is and why it exists will follow, but I'd also like to give an opportunity to Reese Williams to introduce himself. Reese is our head of operations for North America, based in Atlanta in Georgia. So Reese, do you want to kind of just give yourself a quick intro?
Yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, as Terry mentioned, thanks for the intro. My name is Reese Williams. Working closely with everyone at NorCal Premiere to make this really a first-in-class platform for everybody that's involved. We think this is the start. This is going to only develop and add new content to it as well. So we're excited to get going. I think probably everybody that's on here has received the emails, so that's a good sign. And that it's starting to get quite a bit of attendance. So I will flag that you will have received communications this far. I think probably in total about 3 different communications coming from the Coaching Manual and NorCal Premiere in terms of how to log in, and this is what we're going to kind of show you in terms of when you get logged in, the next steps for you guys. So I think that's probably all that's needed from me, Terry.
Great. So. Okay, everyone. So again, just thanks for joining. I know it's mid-morning for most of you, so you're probably in work or in the middle of your day. So thanks for giving up your time. We'll hopefully take up around 30 to 40 minutes to walk through the platform quite quickly, and we're more than happy to take questions and answer questions at the end. If you do have questions, there's a chat box that you can ask those questions in. So if there's anything that you're not sure about, then please do use the opportunity now to ask questions about issues you're having, if you are having any, and things that we can help with. We're here to help you. The Coaching Manual was built in 2011, the first iteration of the platform. And it was built really with the intention of providing coaches with really good resources that would help them develop as coaches, whether they'd come out of playing the game or whether they were bystanders or observers of the game. We recognized 10 years ago that coaches were being asked more and more to provide excellent levels of education in soccer. And a lot of these coaches who are coming into the coaching world were up against it in terms of finding education that was going to help them improve. We very much see ourselves as being an education platform. So we're here to provide knowledge to coaches, to hand that knowledge over to coaches and allow them to then take that knowledge into their training sessions and their practices. And ultimately, the Coaching Manual really exists because of a passion from us as owners of the business and as coaches to provide the best possible experience for children playing this game, whether they're starting off at 4 or 5, or whether they are, long-term players at 15, 16, 17 and upwards. We want to make sure that those players learn the game correctly, but also have a lot of fun doing it. And we are very conscious and very much echo the sentiment on this page, which is that better coaches equals better players and better football. It's very much a mantra that we live by as well. So there's an awful lot of synergy between ourselves and NorCal Premiere, and hopefully we can dive into a little bit of that today. So for those who are in the platform and are already signed in, well done. You did receive some communication from us when we onboarded everybody to the platform. Now, if you weren't expecting this, then it's possible that you may have not seen that communication, or it might have gone into your junk or spam, or may even have been deleted. But not to worry, everybody who's been invited into this call will also have been invited into the platform. So whichever email address you use to do your thing at NorCal Premiere will be the same email address that we can use to get you into the platform. So I'm going to go right back to the beginning for everybody just to help you get started. If you come to the website, it's NorCal Premiere at norcalpremiere.thecoachingmanual.com. So if you type in norcalpremiere.thecoachingmanual.com to your browser, you'll be brought to the login page for the platform. If you know your email and password, you can enter it here. But if you don't and you've missed the communication, then all you need to do is click the reset password option at the bottom, enter the email address, hit the reset button, and straight away we'll send you an email so that you can get signed in and get started on the platform. As soon as you've signed in, most browsers will remember your login credentials, so you shouldn't have to keep remembering them, but the platform will also keep you signed in for a length of time before you get signed out. So once you're in on your browser, you should be into the platform. Now, just to talk a little bit about navigation of the platform, you can use the website on your mobile phone as well. So it's a very good web experience on smaller browsers for phones and tablet devices. So it's a very responsive website. So anything that you do on here, you can also do on the phone if you log in via the phone. The navigation at the top on the computer-based browser has 4 options. Locker is the dashboard that you land in when you first come into the platform. This is really where all of the software is inside the platform. Training ground is the content area. So that's where all of the content that's been created by the coaching manual and by NorCal Premiere, that's where that lives. So if you need to find stuff, then the training ground's a good place to start looking for content. My content is a section of the platform that allows you to create content. I'll explain how that works when we come to it, but creating content is something that we allow coaches to do inside the platform, because whilst we provide excellent resources and we provide incredible coaching videos and coaching sessions, as do the people at NorCal Premiere, we also acknowledge that lots of coaches have their own interpretations of practices that they want to try out with their players, or things that have worked for them before. So we give you that option within the platform. Help Center will just give you articles to help you kind of navigate around the platform and find things out. If you do have any troubles, you can email us at, I think it's help@thecoachingmanual.com, and we can provide some support in person to make sure that you get in. The last thing for navigation on the top is the profile section, and that's where we'll start. So you have your own profile. Everybody who uses the NorCal platform has their own profile. It's private to you, only you have access to it, and any of the information that you create inside that platform is yours, inside that profile is yours. But you can also start to personalize the profile. And if you click on the edit profile option, you can start to add bio information, sites of the clubs that you work at, change your name if we've got it wrong. You can also edit the profile theme so that I can start to customize the image. I can put a profile image there. I can put background image of the team that I coach, or the club that I'm working for can go in there as well. So you can start to customize the platform for yourself to make it feel a bit more, give it a bit more ownership to yourself. And they're the main kind of things that we need to think about inside the inside there. for coaches. So starting at Locker, let's have a look around some of the features in here. I'm connected to as a club. I've been created, and I have a club created for me. Not all of you will have that straight away. The access level that we've created for everyone at NorCal is to give you access to all of the NorCal content. So there is other content inside the platform, and it's our intention to work with clubs at NorCal to provide everybody with access to that content and all of the features within the platform. Inside the locker, there are a few areas that you can kind of go and explore. Season plans is a feature that's still being built out for the NorCal platform. But what we will do here, once we've kind of completed this piece of work, is create season plans that contain NorCal content and content from the coaching manual to give you kind of a guidance throughout the season that you're running. So we'll alert everybody when that's ready, when we've completed that piece of work and transition the content into those. It's a good time saver if you're kind of struggling for time. You can just create a season plan quite quickly. Favorites is a way to just store content that you like quite quickly. It's just it gives you a kind of list of different articles that you've liked in the platform. So, for example, there's a match day tips for the foundation phase or the younger age group coaches that I've decided to favorite in here, and I keep that in my favorites. Folders is a really nice feature because it allows you to add some real structure to how you coach and what you want to do with the information. So you can create folders, call them whatever you want, probably to do with football terminology, soccer terminology. But once you start to create folders, you can then go and add content to those folders. You can create as many folders as you want, and you can create a structure of folders so that within those folders, you can add different kind of themes to those folders. So, for example, if I was looking at playing out from the back, I might want to look at what I do for my midfielders in there and create a subfolder within there. So, folders gives me good kind of structure to the content that I want to create in the platform. And the other kind of bit inside of the locker room is the clubs and teams section, which is where you can start to create your own team and add your team. Now, we do provide a package for clubs and a platform for individual clubs where we can build the entire club structure. So it might be worth, if you're a member of a club and you kind of know that they've got lots of teams and lots of coaches who are going to benefit from that, then by all means just reach out to Reese. He's going to put his contact details in the chat box. So if there's anything that you want to know about how we work with clubs, then reach out to Reese, because we do some really, really cool stuff for clubs. So Locker's the dashboard. It's kind of where your information's stored. And I'm going to go over to the training ground now to start having a look at what's inside the platform. So we've worked really closely with NorCal Premiere over the past few months, from kind of during the COVID lockdowns to the present day, to work with the organization to start to transition some of the amazing information that they have within that organization into this platform. What that means is that if you're a NorCal Premier coach, or you're working for a club underneath the league umbrella, you can now come and find content that has been created by some of the great coaching minds at the organization, and you can use this platform as a fantastic source of information to help your own kind of development as a coach, and then also to help the players' development. Lots of different types of content in here. When you first land on the page, you've got different latest articles. So you can see that David Robertson at NorCal Premiere is adding lots of content for the coaches here. So this isn't just stuff that's coming from the coaching manual. This is stuff that's coming directly from NorCal. And we have lots of different types of content. So in this particular piece of content, we've got a practice. If I click on the practice, it opens up the practice for me to go and look at, read, and learn from. It tells me about how I need to set that practice up. Gives me all of the information about the equipment that I need. Tells me about the coaching points that I should be working on. So each coaching point comes with detail so that I can really start to understand what that coaching point means. And there are also animations to illustrate how the practice is intended to work, to start and to run, so that coaches can kind of get a good picture in their heads before they blow the whistle at the start of the practice, to make sure that they're getting the right setup and the players in the right position to commence. There's also some suggestions about making things easier or harder. And on each piece of content, you can add a comment. So if it's something you can add a comment to it, and people can pick those comments up and respond to them and what have you. So at the top of every piece of content is a menu of actions that you can take. As I said earlier, we can add that to a favorite. So I can just click on that article and that's now stored in my favorites. Also in this content template, I can choose to add that into my folder. Now I don't have a playing out from the back folder here, and we are working on attacking 2v1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that folder and I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to house it under my home folders and just call this attacking. Create that folder. That's now in my folders menu, and I can add that content straight into my folder, straight from the content piece that I'm looking at. So that means I'm starting to structure my content straight away into things that I want to keep and want to work on. This particular piece of content tells me at the bottom that it's a session. So the session template is slightly different from the practice template. Session template is typically made up of between 2 and 4 activities. And those activities are generally designed to flow from start to finish. So we are starting looking at a session here on creativity in the final third. That starts with a simple activity to get the players used to what's happening in the practice. Again, similar to the practice template, all of the information about that activity is listed so that I can use that. And then I can click on the next part of that practice, and it's progressed slightly into something a bit bigger, bit more game-like, that's helping those players kind of progress their own understanding of creating opportunities in the final third. And then finally, it typically runs into some kind of activity that relates all of that learning back into the game. So the session template also has the actions at the top that I can take. I can add stuff to folders, I can add it to favorites, and I've got some print options as well. So I can print that entire session out in a compact fashion. So it just prints out the diagrams that I'm going to be working on from that particular piece of content. So if I want to print a piece of paper off, then I can do that. I can also print it as a detailed layout so that I get all of the information in there. So if I'm printing stuff off and keeping it in a folder or whatever, then by all means do that. Also, because David's completed this article and he's in the system, I can click on David here and I can follow David so that I can kind of keep a check on things that he's working on, and keep abreast of the content that he's sharing, and that'll appear now in the activity feed. So once I've followed a content creator, I can start to see new content that they're creating and launching, and that'll appear in my activity feed, which is quite a nice way to just kind of keep abreast of new things that people that you respect and trust in the game are doing. So inside the platform, we've broken the NorCal education down into specific NorCal tabs. So if I want to look for individual player development, then I have a bunch of activities here, either sessions or one-to-one sessions. And if I click on all of the practices in there, I can see lots of different activities for individual training, one-to-one training, which is perfect really for children who are coming to the end of a season and maybe having a bit of a quiet time over the kind of Thanksgiving and Christmas period. As a coach now, I can go, you know what, I'm going to create a folder of one-to-one activities. I'm going to share that with people in the team so that they can work on some of this stuff away from training during the quiet periods of the year, just to make sure they stay sharp for the game. But also there's lots of other NorCal content in here that we can go and explore. So all of the exercises that NorCal have created are easy to find. There is a big library of content being created for NorCal coaches. So 16 different activities on each page. And at the moment, we've got 47 pages of activities. So really, you don't need to go anywhere else as a coach in NorCal. You've got a lifetime's worth of coaching and education being built into this platform. Now, there is a lot of content in there. So how do I start to filter that? We have some really cool filters at the top that allow you to kind of drill down into different types of content. So if you select the video filter, it will just deliver results which have video content within them. You can also start to look for stuff that's age specific, so broken down into youth development, foundation, and the 11-a-side game. And then we can start to look at different phases of the game and different themes within those phases, so that we can start to drill down into content that's quite specific. At that point, I can go and watch some of that content. So if I click on this session, this is a coaching manual session. It comes up with a video. I can watch the coach delivering that session. And again, all of the content that I need and the setup information that I need is in there. Now, a good chunk of the video content is behind a subscription package, but we're working, like I said, with clubs to make sure that every coach within NorCal has access to the platform and all of the content within it. But in the meantime, there is an awful lot of just NorCal related information that you can just go and access for free. So lots of stuff that you can start to browse through, and you can start to find stuff that's very relevant to your role as a coach. So if I clear those filters off, I can see all of the stuff that has been created here, and I can go and use that whenever I want. Also in the training ground, we have a few other options. So goalkeeping's covered, coaching concepts, webinars and education pieces that NorCal have put together. So some really, really great coaching information that will support all of the NorCal methodologies and philosophies, and also the kind of broader things that are important for the game, such as working on the sidelines, coaching behaviors and coaching styles in game and at training, how to help parents navigate this development pathway that their children are undertaking with their clubs, and how they can be best supportive of this pathway. So all of the information that's there to help support the NorCal programs, the NorCal coaches, can be found within these tabs. And there is a huge library of information in here. So by all means, please go and explore. And if you come up against anything that says subscription service, again, reach out to Reese, and we'll work with your club to see if we can get access for everybody within the club to the platform. So the training ground, you can find content in there through search as well. So if I want to search different terms, I can find content that relates to different types of content within the platform. So this is a search that's looking at David Moyes, the current manager of West Ham United. It's a really good kind of session, I believe, on pressing. And I can go and have a look at that session with all of the video and the instruction that he's giving to players. Fantastic learning opportunity. And we do encourage that coaches with a growth mindset go and spend some time looking through this stuff. But also there's all of the webinars from NorCal, NorCal education pieces. So all of this information, stuff that's going to really develop your understanding of coaching, development, and of the game itself, can all be found in here, including content that's been created with Benjamin Zima, stuff that's been created with people like Albert Puig, and some really high quality leading practitioners of the game. So training ground is your content area. There's lots of content in there. My content is the kind of the part where you can go and create stuff. So you can create diagrams, and you can create activities that you want your players to do. There's lots of different templates for football itself, so for soccer, but also I know that that NorCal are keen to support the development of futsal during the off season. So there's futsal pitches in there. If you are working as a futsal coach, you can start to create your own futsal activities, and it's just a simple drag and drop creation tool that allows me to add players, change colors, add different types of equipment into their shaded areas. So if I'm working on stuff that's about positional awareness, I can be quite specific about how I start to show where I want my players to be, and also obviously lines and things that I can draw, so I can show the movement of players or the movement of the ball. The My Content area is your own library within a library, which is the coaching manual. So anything that you save in here, I'll just call this test for the sake of this discussion. Anything you save in there just gets saved in your own library. So that stays in your account. You then can keep that piece of content. You can edit any of the content that you create can sit in there, and it'll just sit within your library so that you can start to build it up. If you don't want to keep it, you can delete it as well. So just remove it. So we can create diagrams, practices, and different types of content within the My Content area. So creating practices allows you to add all of the information in that you might need for that practice, phase of the game, themes, types of practice. We can also, we've got a editing menu at the bottom of the page, which allows us to add paragraphs, add different headers, but also if there's video that we've got from places like YouTube, we can start to embed that video in here. So if we're working with kids and we've got a certain player that we like, we can go and find that player from YouTube. We can write a little article for them and share that with our strikers to show them movement from Cavani or someone like that. Also in My Content, you can create documents. So you can start to create things, blogs, if you like. So if there's articles that you want to write about the game and about development, then you can create those and you can start to share those with other coaches, or you can keep them for yourselves. You can publish those articles and let the world of NorCal Premiere see them. I actually use this particular tool to write match reports. So each week after my guys have played on a Sunday morning, I create a match report which kind of highlights the formation that we played, the result, the scorers, and the budding journalist in me writes a kind of 3 or 4 paragraphs about how the game went. But I also add coaching information into the bottom of that. So always coaching points about things that they can do next time they come into the game. And I create then that library of match reports for my players, which I share with players and parents, so that they've got a record really of what they're going through. They're under 13, so stuff that they can kind of look back on, reflect upon in the future. But also those match reports act as a really useful tool for me when we're playing the same opposition further down the line, either in league games or cup games. I can have a quick kind of refresh of my memory and also refresh the players' memory about what we need to be thinking about when we go into that game against the opposition for the second time in the season or third time. So My Content is a great place to store, create and store your own content and information, and that just sits within your account. You can put as much information in there as you want. So that is essentially the platform for NorCal. As you kind of grow and develop, the platform grows with you. So whilst you may kind of start with a relatively blank sheet of paper, our hope and our desire for clubs involved in this league, and certainly for all of the coaches, is that this starts to become a hub for education that you get from other sources, from NorCal themselves, from the coaching manual, from some of the guests that will be invited into the platform. But it also becomes a source of the information and a record of the education that you've provided. So using folders and keeping a track of what you've taught to different players at different ages means that you've got a complete record of what's gone well for you during your coaching career. So that's kind of a really quick overview. Actually, I've gone into quite a bit of detail about the platform and how it works there. Reese, is there anything else that you'd like me to highlight as part of this?
I don't think so. I think we've got a couple of questions. I think you touched on some of them since they came through, but I don't know if you want to just quickly have a glance at those, Terry.
Yeah, let me. I'm just going to read through these questions. So, good question from Rick. I actually spoke with our developers this morning about creating a feature that allows us to merge different accounts from different platforms within the coaching manual ecosystem. So interestingly, the IDs remain the same. Your account ID and the information that you use to log in remains the same. So what we're looking to do is make it possible for anything that you've created in terms of folders and your own content in other platforms. We are looking to merge that all together. We literally just kind of started that process this morning of exploring the best way to do that, to make sure that it doesn't affect. It'll probably mainly, to start off with, Rick, it'll focus on content. So content that you've favorited and created yourself, stuff that you've put in folders, that's probably where we'll start. It'll get a bit more complicated if we start looking at season plans and teams and things like that. So we'll start with what seems the most obvious thing to us, and then we'll build from there. So bear with us on that. It's in the pipeline.
Yeah. There's a few in the Q&A section as well.
Okay, so coaching manual. Yeah, everyone should have access to NorCal. So it's the same question really, Niall, to kind of bring them together so that we can get all of that put together. Just to answer Peter's question about the stuff that you do and don't have access to, anything that you click on in the exercises at the top that comes from NorCal, then you should have access to that stuff. And the training activities in there, all of that stuff that's NorCal created, you will have access to inside the platform. So you should be able to, there's lots of stuff in there that anything that says it's created by NorCal Premiere, for example, you will have access to that. And if you don't, then just reach out to us and let us know. Will videos expand from the program? To play them full screen, Vimeo made a couple of changes. We use Vimeo to host video, so that should be fixed in the next week. They made some changes about 3 weeks ago, so we're just kind of working through correcting that. And no, you can put as many sessions or pieces of content in as you like, Ted. So just go for it. Thomas is again. That's the diagram creation tools. They are kind of the premium feature, and that's what we're working through the clubs with. So Thomas, it's probably best that you reach out to Reese. I think he put his email in there, but it's just for those who didn't see that. It's Reese, which is spelled REISW @thecoachingmanual.com, and we can provide you with the solution for that, and in the meantime give you the opportunity to try out some of that stuff anyway. So just reach out to us, Thomas, and we'll answer that stuff. If you want, all of the content that you create remains private, so it's not shared anywhere. But if you want to start sharing content with coaches, then you can. You just need to use the share icons in the content to share that to different people. I think it's Elmer who asked that question. So yeah, you can share it. It remains private unless you decide to start sharing it. So nobody will be able to see it unless you allow them to. Any more questions? Yeah, Usman, you're asking a good question there about uploading video. So we can embed video from other sources, but not upload at the moment. It's something that we're thinking about adding in, but it does come with that question of what does that mean with regards to space and storage. So at the moment, we allow you to bring video in from any other source, such as YouTube, so that you can then turn that YouTube video into a practical activity that you can put on with players, because you can add the diagrams and what have you to that video, to that video source as well. Okay, I think I've covered the questions in there for everybody. No others at the moment. If anybody's got anything else that they'd like to ask, then by all means, reach out to, sorry, Peter. There is actually a good, Peter, if you email Reese can pass it on to me, and I'll kind of help you with that to find the stuff that's non-NorCal. We have a solution for that with regards to folders, but it's probably best if you reach out to me, and I'll kind of find all of the stuff that is that's free in there. So just give us a shout. Somebody just raised a hand. Let me just, I don't know how that works. Mark, I guess I'd need to, yeah. Can you see that, Reese?
I can't, no.
No, it's gone.
He said sorry, so maybe it's
okay.
a bit of an accident, maybe.
No
yeah, I'll put my email in here as well, just again to everybody, so that you have it. If you missed it in the chat, please feel free to reach out.
Yeah, and we will follow up with the video, so anything that I've discussed, you'll be able to kind of scrub through the video and have a look at it. But yeah, if you've got clubs, then let us know, and we'll do the rounds and get them on there, because there's a whole load of other powerful things that we can start to create for clubs that will make the life of coaches even easier than just using the platform in the first place. So structuring content for clubs is something that we provide, so we can break down content into all of the different age groups so that coaches get the right stuff. So there's some really amazing things that we can do for clubs. So if you're part of the club, just let us know and we'll help you out. But yeah, that's it from me. Again, I just want to say thanks to everybody for attending. It's a fantastic platform, and I hope you spend a bit of time kind of getting into it. Remember the login process if you've missed the registration link. We're really excited about this relationship with NorCal Premiere, because we know how they think about football. They think about it in very similar terms to how we do. Benjamin Zima has a very similar philosophy towards development in the game, and the lifelong benefits that we can provide to children by teaching them this incredible sport. And you know, I'm a huge believer in that. I still play even in my mid-40s and with a number of dislocated knees under my belt. I still play because it's just a lifelong passion for me. So you know, that's what we want to inspire in the next generation. So thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it. Thanks, Reese, as well, and look forward to hopefully meeting some of you at some point as we kind of continue this partnership with NorCal Premiere.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Again, appreciate you taking the time today.